Hi, I'm Tim of 1916. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. I am still tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Reach out to me. I am tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we discuss a watch that can do it all. Loomed, automatic, water-resistant, travel time, and an alarm. This is the Blancpain Leman GMT. 40 millimeters in diameter in rose gold. This watch measures 13.5 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 44 millimeters, with nice broad and modern 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Those crowns are withdrawn. You'll see why in just a moment. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, the watch wears well. It's short across the wrist. It's unusual for a 40 millimeter watch to be only 44 millimeters from lug to lug, so you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, making it an unlikely unisex option. And there you can see over the top, the lugs are not over the edge of my wrist. It's actually fairly flat with a double gadroon or double domed bezel that will slide underneath the cuff. One more shot down the barrel, so you can really see those lugs are nowhere near the edge. The strap, wonderfully luxurious. We have medium rectangular scale alligator leather, matte brown with a little bit of stuffing or bolstering to give it volume adjacent to the lugs. In profile, it features a sealed and shear cut profile to show you the layers of leather, and then a wonderful vulcanized rubber insert on the bottom to isolate the leather from the heat, sweat, moisture, and grit of the wrist, and it also feels quite supple against the wrist. Here we have a matching single fold friction fit deploying clasp. You can see branded inside, and it has a little undertuck with a pin, so you stick the strap in just like this, you pin it down, you size it, and once it's sized, all the excess length sits underneath the clasp and the straps. There's no need for minder loops externally. One feature I like on these later versions of the Revi GMT is that it has a slightly beefier case, but it's by no means oversized. You can see it has that characteristic Blancpain case profile with the name on the 9 o'clock side, and then lugs with a teardrop undertuck that are broken out decisively with a character line separating them from the case band. Everything here in high polish. We have the logo style oversized knurled crowns and that double domed bezel with a generously cambered sapphire on top. So let's fire all of this up. It has an on-off for the alarm, and you'll note that there is a little indicator under 12 o'clock that lets you know whether the alarm is armed or not. And there is a beautiful black polished striker with tears and snailing on its lower levels. This is as good as it gets in the world of alarm watches because you also have that second time zone. And I'll demonstrate some of the features of this watch right now. See how I'm able to adjust the local time independently of the reference time zone. Right there, we have a 24-hour secondary time zone. At center, we have the primary time zone, which is the one that's linked to the date indication. And you can drive that date forward or backwards, depending on which direction you're going across the international date line. The power reserve is for the alarm. It lets you know whether the alarm is charged. And this watch has the ability to automatically wind both the time-telling functions and the alarm barrel. So just wearing it over time, the alarm will energize itself. And then you can see that little on-off indicator up at the top. You'll also see there is the alarm setting dial over at 3 o'clock, and then we have our little date indication. We have rose gold hands, and take a look at the Lume Shot. You might be surprised at just how extensively loomed this dial is. You can see every single sub-dial and hand has been loomed. Taking a slightly closer look, you can see that the numerals feature a lovely brown bronze fill with a transferred profile, so they are lacquered on, and then we have a little black border for each one, and they are wonderfully serif fonts. You can also see that the font used on the subdials, same as the font used on the primary dial. Flip it all over. Another surprise on this watch with screw-down crowns. It's 100 meters water-resistant. Now we have caliber 1241, created for Frédéric Piguet, which is today manufacturer Blancpain. This can be considered a manufacture movement. The stripes are beautifully broad and luminous. Of the companies that make watches in series, very few do such a good job as Blancpain of making the movements a satisfying blend of mechanical necessities, that is automated production, and fine finishing to remind you that human hands still touched it. Look at those bevels. Look at how deep, striated, textured, and shaded those stripes are on both the rotor and the bridges. And you could see that the screws are mostly fired blue screws, but there are some polished screws here as well. The bevels, including on the rotor, are 1 mile wide. You can see the same treatment has been applied to the jewel sinks. We have solarization on certain wheels, such as the ratchet wheel, and then we have satination on others. We have a free-sprung balance for toughness. Free-sprung balances allow for very precise adjustment as well as shock resistance, and you can see this is adjusted in a chronometer-style 5 positions. It all pivots on 38 joules. It has an automatic winding, 45-hour power reserve. It beats away at 4 hertz or 8 beats per second. Take a look, if you can, at the base plate with a nice tight engine-turned perlage, deeply impressive. And even the bridge for the escapement lever below the balance has been nicely decorated. That's where a lot of brands will cut corners. You can also see that locating pegs used to locate bridges on lower bridges or even the base plate, those locating pegs have been mirror polished on their tops. This is an incredibly appealing watch that simply packs every conceivable feature. Throw it on a more water-resistant strap. Again, you can even swim with it, and these are screw-down crowns. So reach out to me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.